You know, last night's high drama recalls a quote from William Shakespeare's The Tempest. Alas, the storm come again, my best way to creep under his gabardine. There is no other shelter hereabout. Misery acquaints a man with strange bedfellows. I will here shroud till the dregs of the storm be past. Of course, that's our two buddies, right? We're talking about Washington, D.C. and these odd couples that are sharing the same gabardine these days, more or less to protect their turf. John Boehner and Barack Obama. Heretofore, let's just call them the establishment, the strange bedfellows, pushing through a bill that obviously, in my mind, extraordinarily defies November's midterm election results, and it makes a mockery of all of their big talk, all of their promises. Now, it was a nail-biter. It passed. This is H.R. 83 last night. You can see how it passed by the slimmest of margins, but the most incredible of makeups. All right, Jonathan. Nancy Pelosi says she was enormously disappointed. Maxine Waters told her own colleagues, don't be intimidated by Obama. Now, I got to tell you something, but maybe all of these years the media got it wrong about who were the real obstructionists.
Charles, I think the people's disgust with politicians now is that they're realizing they're just two packs of wolves deciding how are they going to portion up, how are they going to devour us up. I mean, we need to stop talking about these individual principles and start policies and start talking about some principles. And I think when you see these backroom political dealings, who, to your point, are solely about keeping political power, you know, you just feel like, you know, fodder for the mill. And it's hard to get enthusiastic about anyone because you're just their sacrifice, end of story.
$1.1 trillion, half a trillion dollars in debt. Let's talk about the economics of it, Lindsay, because, you know, we thought, again, maybe the message was clear. You know, we saw a gigantic shift in power in November. But it's the same kind of stuff we've always gotten.
I think the economics are very simple. It's too much spending, and the average American simply cannot afford it as we're setting ourselves up for higher taxes, although both sides promise us they won't. But again, they promise us many things. Look at Obamacare. I know we talked about oil prices a lot in the first segment. That's basically giving the consumer an extra $100, $200 in their pocket. But healthcare insurance premiums have gone up between 30 and 40%, costing the average family an extra $3,000 a year. So on net, we're still down $2,800 even with that gas savings. No wonder the consumer is not outspending like gangbusters.
And then, of course, there's nothing in there to stop the amnesty. You know, the executive order there. That's going to be extraordinarily expensive to individual states. We saw the EPA, which is going to unleash a tidal wave of rules, and that are going to
how many new businesses are not going to be started? You know?
I'd say literally thousands, hundreds of thousands.
How much wealth won't be created?
I tell you who's getting the wealth, Heath. Last night there was a city group PAC. They donated a lot of money. Apparently they were pushing buttons, and Jamie Dimon was making phone calls. So now the Dodd-Frank provision is they want to take it out where you don't commingle derivatives with the Main Street's, you know, just the regular savings and checkings accounts. Does anyone have a chance with these Wall Street billionaires really writing these laws?
I don't know. I heard this and this really gets my goat. But the thing is, all banks do this.
I didn't mean to Wall Street billionaires.
All banks do this. And this is the first time they've done this. Back in 2012, they had employees, they sent out a letter asking employees to contribute to the PAC, saying that this election was a very important election. They should do it. They said it was volunteer basis. Someone from the company's spokesperson said, listen, it's volunteer. It's actually legal for them to do this. But how do you solicit your employees for this? This is just wrong in my book.
All right. Hey, I tell you what, though. Now, more and more people are talking about Elizabeth Warren going to make a run for the president. Everyone's jumping on that bandwagon. I talked about it first.
God help us.
You got to listen to what she was saying last night, because I think she was the big one to take a listen.
Why, in the last minute, as you head out the door and a spending bill must be passed, are you making it a priority to do Wall Street's bidding? Who do you work for? Wall Street or the American people?
Like I said, a long time ago, I said that she probably is going to be the candidate. I think she could beat Hillary. She was the clear winner last night. And for me, that's a very ominous sign for the stock market.
I think we should remember this day, or rather that's that comment, because it's a pivotal moment. And when she runs, we're going to say this was a turning point, and this was also a big boost for her. She has two issues. One is she doesn't like the president's nomination to the third-ranking Treasury position, thinks it's too incestuous with Wall Street. And two is the Dodd-Frank and sneaking the derivatives business back in. She's adamant this is.
I never want to be on the same page with Elizabeth Warren. But, you know, you do wonder why, whenever these things are amended, you know, we've wasted a couple of years on Dodd-Frank. small people want to start a business. Regular people want to buy a house. They can't get it done, and now we're going to take the whole thing out. Why? Why do we go through all of this in the first place, Lindsay?
Well, I think that arguably the pendulum has swung in too far to the other side. Now, even former Chairman Ben Bernanke came out. Remember, he wasn't even able to refinance his mortgage. So certainly the exact consumers, the home buyers, the small business potential small business owners, these are the individuals that these are targeted to help. And they're the exact ones that are harmed, kicked out of the market.
And notice, Charles, no one's questioning whether we should have regulations. You just have people who want to have more regulations, like the Elizabeth Warren, or the radical.
Well, the argument was that we had unfeathered capitalism. That's not
you got to be on mushrooms to believe that.
All right, guys.
Hey,
I got an email this morning from one of my subscribers, Mara Byron, and she wrote this. She says, "I wish I had the power to control my own destiny instead of these blockheads having the power to control theirs at my expense." At the end of the day, you know what? This is the Worldwide Wrestling Foundation screaming at each other during the day and sharing drinks together at night. A democracy at work. Matt, this is the kind of stuff that keeps people out of the stock market.
Unfortunately, I had a big issue when Obama got elected. I have a lot of Republicans as clients. They shunned the stock market because they thought Obama was going to kill this country. Meanwhile, they missed out on one of the greatest rallies ever. What investors at home need to do is take their political views, put it on one side, and take their view of the stock market, investing for the long term on the other side. It's very tough to take those emotions out, but if you let your political emotions get involved, you will never make money. You're always going to be dissatisfied with what's going on.
I agree with you there, although there is a point where policy can crush your portfolio, or policy can crush a country. I think this is the worst post-recession recovery in history because of policies that have been put in place.
Yeah, there's a regulatory cost, Charles, because you don't know what the policy is going to be 6 months down the line. And we've seen that with something like taxi cab medallions. As Uber's come in, the price of all these taxi cab medallions.
But we've been saying that, Jonathan, for years. We've been saying the political situation, the landscape's not good. As we keep saying that, the stock market keeps hitting highs.
The stock market doesn't represent the fundamentals of the economy, which are very lackluster. We haven't been able to grow above this 2%.
We're going to pick it up. In fact, we're going to talk about